Word. All right. So the reason I reached out to you, man, is because, as I mentioned initially, just started this live broadcast radio show through iHeart, and it gives me an opportunity to do several things. But one of them is be able to advertise, promote businesses and causes that I care about, you know what I'm saying, or that I think other people will care about. So I'm reaching out to different like companies and stuff that I feel, like I said, that I respect, that I actually use, that I can endorse, from an experience perspective of saying, yes, I actually use this product, or I actually, use this service. And depending on what projects or events you have coming up, it could be a really good opportunity for you to either build that traction, build more followers, and funnel people to whatever platform you want to get them to. You know what I'm saying? So for example, if, Daily Specials Charlotte is where you want people's attention to, then it would be a good opportunity to do that. And there's a couple different ways, that you could do that. So for one of the ways would be through having like an advertisement that will air on the radio show, which I don't know if you know, but it airs Mondays at 8 a.m. So this is peak time. This is like people are either at work or on their way to work,
Right.
about to start their week. You know what I'm saying? So depending on, again, like who you target, this could be you reaching out or getting to them, getting in front of them at the top of the week, and then, being able to see how that translates into foot traffic, you know what I mean, to
Right.
your
Right.
website or Instagram or whatever. Another way of doing it is through an interview. So I feel like this is probably more of an impactful way of really capturing your audience because one, it's more time, you know what I'm saying? So you're actually gonna be talking about how you do what you do, or basically however you want that to go, it will be our conversation. Whatever you
Uh,
want to speak on, I'll leave with the questions, and we'll engage in an organic conversation that lets people know, better about how, Daily Specialist Charlotte actually works, and why
right.
it's good for them to get involved if they're not already following you. You know what I'm saying?
Right. Right.
So there's that piece. And then there's a third piece, which is basically like a combination of the first two, but the time span is a little bit longer. So instead of just having that one episode where we have our interview, it could run as an advertisement for a series of episodes. So for example, excuse me, it might be the month of November. Let's just say if you choose to sponsor this show for the month of November, then it'll run each episode that I put out for that month.
Right.
So
Right.
it'll be a repeat in people's faces, you know what I'm saying, on top of having that episode that we recorded together, which there's ways of acquiring the raw audio footage from that, or the audio and video, depending on what you want, because I have a team of engineers. I got a whole team of engineers behind me from iHeart. Thank God, because let me tell you, when it comes to the technical stuff, that is not me. That's not my area. You know what I'm saying? My biggest thing is people. It's always been like that. You know what I'm saying? Like I'm
Right.
very
Right.
good with engaging with people. But thankfully in this relationship with iHeart, they take care of all the technical stuff for me. So I literally will, I'm responsible for creating the content. Then I pass it on to my production team. They edit, and, I send them my suggestions, of course, and my vision for the episode. And they chop it up and make it all make sense, and send it back to me. So yeah, so essentially, that's what it is. That's what the opportunity is. So you came to mind as I was getting this started up, because I mean, I follow Daily Special Charlotte, you know what I'm saying?
Right.
Like,
Right.
people always asking me. I got a lot of friends from out of town who slide through either for work or leisure, and they're always like, "Yo, Chris, I got some friends up here too. Like, where can I take them to go eat?" And
Right.
first thing I do, and I'm being totally honest with you, is I go to the saved images that I have on my Instagram.
Right.
And a
Right.
lot of it is from Daily Special CFT. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
what I really like about Daily Special CLT is that it has, I like the videos you've been putting out lately. You know what I'm saying? It's very like quick to the point, and it tells me all the shit I really want to know.
Right.
How's the food? How's the service? And
Yeah.
what it costs? You know what I'm saying? So, and of course, you got really good visuals, you know, from the videography and the photography standpoint as well. So it just makes it easier for me to make my decision. You know what I mean?
Right.
And I like that you don't just go to the commercial spots.
Right.
You go in the hood.
Yeah.
That's important to me.
I know a lot of people probably confused because I will send people like to the straight hood, or I might be eating upscale one day. You're gonna get a wide variety.
So where did that come from? Like, how did you even develop a palette for both?
That's just me. Like, because I think I'm more comfortable in the hood, like, because I just grew up around like not necessarily like a super bad environment, but just us. Like,
Where'd you
so
grow
I'm
up?
comfortable. I'm from Elberton, Georgia, which is kind of near Athens, Georgia, so a small country town.
North Georgia.
Yeah, Northeast Georgia. Yep. So that's just what I was comfortable. So, and then as I started doing daily special stuff, I started going to more and getting invited to more like higher end things. So I started learning about fine dining a little bit more, but we didn't have no money growing up for fine dining, so I was always eating at the hood spots. So that's just where I'm comfortable at. And now that I'm always eating a bunch of fine dining places too, I can kind of do both.
Yeah.
But I
Definitely.
mean, to be honest with you, most of the time the food's better at the hood spots for me, for my palate. So I'll never quit going to them. So
Listen, I understand. Like, and I can tell you, I can relate as far as me growing up. I grew up in the hood. I grew up in several hoods, honestly. You know what I'm saying? Like, I was born in Harlem, right?
Okay.
And I grew up on the Lower East Side of Manhattan. So when people hear Manhattan, automatically they think, oh, you grew up where there's money.
Yeah.
Let me just tell you, there's projects everywhere. Okay. All up and through Manhattan. People fail to realize that. But and then of course I moved to Atlanta. I lived in Atlanta for 10 years. And I lived in Forest Park. I lived in like the Brookhaven area, just basically surrounding going to school. I went to Oglethorpe, which is in that area. And then I got friends from, all East Atlanta, West Atlanta, all that good stuff. So, through those experiences too, man, I've developed a palate for different cuisines, like but the hood, but the hood stuff, you just can't get past it. Like you don't grow
it's an experience. The experience is part of it too.
Man, listen, and I can't remember which spot it was that you featured one time, but I just remember laughing to myself because you were talking about how good the food was, it was no frills, and then you was like, but the service is terrible. You know what I'm saying?
Oh yeah. That was Nikki's over off Betty's Ford.
Man, but I respect that you kept it all the way real. You know what I'm saying? Like, so nobody who goes to that spot can feel like they were misled.
Right. Yeah, exactly. That was my whole point. Because when you walk in, you ain't getting no smile, you ain't getting no nothing. The food gonna be
hello, no greeting, none of that.
They're gonna hand you your food and basically tell you get out. But the food gonna slap and it's gonna be cheap. So
and sometimes that's what you're looking for.
Exactly.
Sometimes that's all you need. So, just things like that, man. That's what attracted me to like reaching out to you. Because I'll be honest with you, man, like since I posted about this opportunity, I've been overwhelmed with the inquiries that I've been getting, people wanting to promote and feature their business. And I plan to get to as many of them as possible, but I have certain ones that I'm like, yeah, I need this one, especially being in Charlotte. And I'm a big time foodie myself, you know what I'm saying? So I totally respect what you're doing. So tell me about like, and we here, by the way, this whole interview has started, you know what I'm saying? And I like to kind of roll into it that way. We can keep it organic, but tell me about like the vision around Daily Special Charlotte.
So to be honest with you, I mean, it kind of changed and morphed because originally I didn't plan on being like a food blogger or anything. It was more so I created because I'm in tech, like I was saying earlier. That's my background and my actual job. And I was going to places and would see specials like, and then I would see like, oh, if I had to came here yesterday, it would have been half off of my wine or a discount on my wings or whatever. So I was like, there has to be some place that kind of consolidates all of these specials in one spot so that I could just go to that site, figure out where I want to eat, find the specials, and go to places on the correct days to get the specials. There wasn't. So I end up just building it since I deal with websites and stuff for my full-time job. That was no problem. Did that, and then I created the Instagram to just kind of post, this place has these specials here and there. But then I started posting where I was eating also on Instagram, and that kind of started taking off. So that kind of launched me into the foodie scene in Charlotte. And then as I started getting into the foodie scene in Charlotte, I started noticing none of our spots get posted. And by our spots, I mean like black owned, minority owned spots. It was always the same, kind of more of the upscale, like fine dining or spots that are in the popular areas like Noda, Plaza, South End, Uptown. If it wasn't in those spots, those places weren't getting posted by any of the other like food bloggers or Charlotte media at all. So I'm like, there's a whole
Whole world.
segment of Charlotte that isn't getting featured at all. And a lot of times the food is better at those spots that weren't getting featured. So I'm like, this doesn't make any sense. So that's when I kind of started my niche and made it, kind of focused towards a lot of those black owned and like minority owned spots that you don't see. Um, and the difference is I don't mind going to the hood or other areas that aren't as popular for food. So
Right. For
that,
food.
yeah, yeah.
Right.
So with me doing that, I was posting a lot of places that people didn't even know existed because people were just used to seeing the same things over and over. They're like, oh, I've lived here for 15 years, or I've been here all my life, and I didn't even never know about this spot, and the spot's been there for 25 years or however. So people started kind of sharing those posts, and it just started kind of growing from there. So that kind of gave me a passion for trying to focus on the spots that don't get as much attention and kind of bringing attention to those spots because a lot of times the food slaps at those spots. And I want to continue doing that. Now I have a pretty decent sized platform between my Instagram, which is Daily Special COT, and my TikTok, which my TikTok has way more followers on it than my Instagram does. So between the two of those, I can give restaurants pretty big exposure now. And usually wherever I post now, when I do those videos, the next couple of days, the place is slammed.
Wow.
So,
So
so
let me
yeah,
ask you a couple of things because you unpacked a lot just there. You know what I'm saying?
right.
Um, First off, I had the same like realization as far as when I moved to Charlotte. I moved to Charlotte in 2010. No, 2011. I moved there in 2011. This year actually makes 10 years now I think about it. But when I came here from Atlanta,
Mm-hmm.
I quickly noticed like, dang, like there's so much to offer as far as food going to our hood spots,
Right.
but I wouldn't find out about them until I just stumbled across them driving. You know what I'm saying?
Yep.
And it's interesting because initially when I come across a problem like that, I start thinking of solutions. You know what I'm saying? So
Yep.
at one point, I thought I was gonna be like a food blogger and I was gonna arrange basically what you've successfully done. You know what I'm saying?
Right. Right.
But I never pursued it. You know what I'm saying? So that's another reason why I'm very thankful that you've gone ahead and actually done that work because you're right. Like there is no other media that's sharing this information about places to go and get good food, outside of, this cookie cutter perimeter. You know what I mean?
Right.
And then the other thing that I just wanted to point out was, um, as far as but what she doing? Sorry, my daughter, she's happy to be home. But yeah, just like as far as that's what I was gonna say. With the restaurants though, like what type of partnerships are being established, are you establishing as you are doing them this huge, bringing them this huge value as far as drawing attention to their restaurant?
Yeah, so that part's been kind of important for me as well. Because and I'm part of Eat Black Charlotte. I was one of the creators of Eat Black Charlotte as well. And one of our goals for that was to not just bring them business, but to also teach them business. And by that, I mean, there's a lot of aspects because a lot of our places, I
Don't
know
have a
earlier we joked,
website.
yeah, we joked about the service is bad, but that, I mean, that happens at a lot of our places. We'll have excellent food. The rest of the business kind of suffers, from front of the house to websites, social media, even adding their address to like Google so people can find them, adding their hours. Like there's a bunch of different things that we can help build the whole community that goes into, and kind of elevating our restaurants, to be in those spots that the rest of the media will post them and go there. So that's kind of the big overall goal as far as the restaurants go. So I do work with them, um, before and after, usually if they're open to it, because some, I mean, obviously some of them just don't want to deal with the rest of it, and some of them are very open and responsive to, oh, I should do this or I should do that. So it just depends on the place, but I definitely always try to help build them, for the future, and not just give them a business boost for a
Right.
couple of weeks.
I got you. So like as far as you spoke on like some restaurants being a little more receptive or less receptive, to this information, this valuable information that you propose to them. Um, is there like a standard agreement or anything that you try to get these restaurants to agree to before you promote them, or is it strictly off the strength of I actually went to this place and here's what I thought, so I'm just gonna put it out there?
So it varies. Most of the time now it's the latter. I just go, because mostly the goal is for me to use my platform to uplift the community. So I'll just go, um, tell them what I'm doing and tell them what's about to happen. And because lately, after I post, I have to prepare them so that they're staffed up, making sure that they're ready for the rush. So now I do check with them to make sure that they want that type of rush and they can deal with it, because a lot of restaurants are dealing with like short staff and stuff right now.
Sure,
um,
sure.
yeah. I haven't had anybody say no though. They'll deal with the rush and figure it out. But
If they're
um,
smart, they will.
right, right. So yeah, so that's what I've been doing as far as the actual post. Sometimes it depends. If it's something that is gonna cost me more money, say they're like way off somewhere else in like Mooresville or something, and I'm gonna have to drive and it's gonna take all day. Or if they want something specific, then I'll set up some type of package. But and I do offer other packages too, as far as like if they want me to come in and shoot their photography, because I do food photography as well. If they want multiple posts, we can set up a package for that. Social media, they need help from posting or creating content or whatever they want. Um, my full-time job, I deal with websites, so if they need a website, can take care of that for them. So, and also getting other media into their establishment, since I have met and know a lot of the connections now.
I bet.
So, yeah, I do have those packages, but usually up front, if I just want to try a place, I'll just go. I'm
Mhm.
not I don't typically reach out and say, hey, uh I want to come to your restaurant, but pay me to do so. I'll go.
Man, I think you
Yeah.
should, brother. Let me tell you. I think you
Yeah,
should.
well, so I could, but right now, usually I'll do that on the back end if they want more help. And some of them will just offer, hey, we appreciate what you did. Here is such and such
Yeah.
dollars, or come back, and whenever you come, it's on us, or whatever. So that type of thing. But yeah, some it depends on if I'm pushing my consultations and stuff or not. But lately I haven't been. I've just been going out trying to show love, especially to the people. A lot of places that I'm doing videos on now are places that I went to a while ago, and
Okay.
they've always showed love even when I didn't have any followers. So now I'm like, now that I do have a decent sized community, I'm gonna go back and blow your spot up. So
Yeah. I dig that, man. I dig that. I mean, I definitely see like, businesses that could use this service that you are providing. You know what I mean? Especially the ones who know they are lacking in the marketing department,
mhm.
um, because man, at a minimum, they should be supplying your food. They should be feeding you. You know what I'm
Right,
saying? They
right,
should
right.
definitely be feeding. If nothing else, they should be feeding you because one, it is the least of their costs for one. You know what I'm saying? Like they can charge $15 for this burger and fries and this drink, but we know it costs them about two and a half. You know what I'm saying?
Right, right, right. Yeah, and I mean most of the ones that I end up working out a deal with beforehand, I tell them I'm like, you're gonna make that money back within the first hour of the next day,
Yeah.
no matter, even if it's a couple $100. I'm like, you're gonna make that back within a couple hours.
Right.
It's not even that, but and sometimes I'll tell them to take that money that they were going to pay me and either give somebody in need those meals, or put it back into the business, or pay an employee or something like that. um just to try to, you know the goal is to help our community.
Absolutely.
So
Absolutely. I'm with you,
yeah.
man. I dig that. I dig that big time. So as far as like right now, we are, let's see, October is over, right?
Mhm.
We're about to pull up on November, holidays coming up. Anything you got planned as far as like any special features or anything as far as daily specials is concerned.
Yeah, so I will have a new merch line coming soon. Hopefully before holiday season. So that'll be dropping. I think people will like that because people are always asking. And they recognize me when I'm wearing my foodie shirt and I came to eat. So got those and a couple of other um things coming for that. And I will likely be starting some type of subscription service soon. I'm thinking maybe Patreon-esque type of thing. And that'll be for people that who want to, there'll be several tiers, people who just want to support, because there's a lot of people who are like, how can I just, support the page? So there'll be a tier of maybe like $5 a month for that. And then there'll also be a tier where you get things. Maybe there will be like weekly cooking classes or something, or
Because you cook
you
as
know,
well, don't you?
I do cook, yeah, yeah. So, maybe, and then discounts on the merch, maybe some specials at certain restaurants. So we may have like, go here to this restaurant this week and it'll be 30% off, or you get a free item or something for that tier. And then I also want to do a tier for people who are looking to get into like content creation and stuff like that. Just because I get asked, oh, how do you do your videos? How do you do your photos? You know, how do you edit photos in Lightroom or Photoshop, or and how do you post on YouTube, Instagram, TikTok, all of that stuff. So I have a tier, a higher tier for those people who want to learn that, so they'll have access to, you know, ask me questions. They like can block off a 30-minute time slot per month or whatever. And then the fourth one would be the restaurant tier. So basically the stuff that we were talking about earlier as far as marketing and helping them get their Google set up right and Yelp account and all of that stuff.
Yeah.
So
I mean, you're really living about it. You know what I'm saying? Like that's definitely evidence that you have put into the thought, you know what I mean, as far as your strategy for helping to build community, you know what I'm saying, like from every level. You know, you just gave me from I just want to support this cause up to, you know, I want to find out some of the best places to eat and also have access to get merch from you, you know what I'm saying,
mhm,
and then on the how do I do this, you know what I'm saying, level as well, where you can show people how you are managing your social media presence. And then the restaurants, you know, it's no brainer there, you know what I mean,
right,
especially for those who, like we talked about at the beginning of this conversation, don't have that skill set on their team right now. You
right,
know what I'm saying?
right.
I mean, I can think of several Jamaican restaurants. I can think of, you know what I'm saying? I can think of several like soul food spots. Like, and
Yeah,
I know you can think of even more that's like, yo, this is such a great product. And y'all could be making so much more money and making such a bigger impact by doing
right,
few little a little education, you know what I'm saying?
right.
A
Yep,
little
yep,
education in these couple areas, you know what I'm saying? Or trusting to hire a consultant, you know what I
yeah.
mean, to manage that for you. So man, shouts out to you. Like I definitely can see you managing to, you know, actually build those things that you talked about.
Yeah, that's definitely the goal because like you were saying, I think there's definitely more restaurants that don't have any type of good website than do in our community. Like it's I'm more surprised if I go to a website and it's a nice website,
Yo, I
which
was
is
thinking the
crazy.
same thing.
Yeah. So it's very rare. And it
Very
doesn't need to be that way. But yeah, we just don't typically have the education, and a lot of times what I also see is people get comfortable. They'll be more so like, well, I mean, we're steady couple of nights out the week, so we're good. But I'm like, yo, you could be doing so much more. You could be employing more people, heck,
Yeah,
even
you could actually
expanding.
finish the patio, you know,
Right,
that
right,
nobody can sit at right now. Like,
right. Yep, because especially here, I know we're always looking for a nice spot for us, you know, to go chill, enjoy. Of course, I mean, we love our hood spots too, but we also
you
want,
like to
you know,
get
some
dressed
nice
up
spots.
sometimes. Yeah.
Right, right, right. Yeah, so I think it's hopefully taking that next step, you know, to kind of elevate our spots and our community best way I can. I don't know it all, but I know enough that I may be able to help them along their journeys. So that's the
Yeah.
goal.
Most definitely, man. I mean, I think a lot of it comes down to, you know, the individual business owner at this point,
Mhm.
you know. Now I'm somebody who has always ventured outside of my neighborhood. You know what I'm
Right.
saying? Like, even when I was younger, I had friends that lived on my block, but then I had friends that lived beyond my block too. You know what I'm saying? And so that early exposure to things outside of my immediate, you know, community, um, is something that definitely has followed me, you know what I'm saying, through my adulthood now. So
Mhm.
even coming to Charlotte, like I can tell you some spots on the east side, you know what I'm saying,
Right.
that you might want to go check out and eat. And then I could also tell you some spots on the west side, you know what I'm saying, going beyond Betty's Ford. And I
Mhm.
mean, Mooresville, I got some favorite spots up there. Davison, you
Right.
know what I mean, Kannapolis, like Waxhaw, Rock Hill.
Yeah.
And it's great to see someone who's actually like capturing, these different delicious restaurants to check out. You know what I'm saying? Man, so again, I employ you for that. And I definitely, like I said, I appreciate you like having this talk with me. Like
Sure, sure.
this is the vibe that I am creating on Face2Face radio, where I can have candid conversations with folks who are doing what it is they say they do, because that's another big thing,
Yeah, you're right.
everybody does something, right? I
Yeah.
got people coming to me all the time, like, "Yo, put me on. I do this, and then I also do this, and I do this, and I do this." And I'm like, "Okay, well, show me an example of one of
Right.
these things." Like, "Oh, well,
It's
what I'm
coming.
saying? Come
Yeah,
on,
everybody's an expert now. So
man." Yeah. So yeah, man. So yeah, I appreciate this, and if there's any way, like I said, like that's pretty much how I'm offering, to do my part as well in building this community, is bringing that exposure to these business owners and the things that they're working on as well, you know.
yeah. Yeah.
So just to kind of like get more into the nuts and bolts, just real quick, um, the sponsorship packages that we talked about. Like for one, I'm just gonna be real with you. Like this interview that we had today is going up. You know what I'm saying? Like regardless, you feel me?
Okay.
Like so
Okay.
that's not gonna cost you nothing. If you wanted to extend that, like I said, as far as having the advertisements happen on more of a recurring thing, then I'm only charging $50 for that per episode. So each
Okay.
time it'll air, that's what it would be if you wanted to sponsor it beyond that one interview that we have. You know what I'm saying?
Okay.
That comes up. And that's something that you can take advantage of now or, later on. Because I will be doing obviously more interviews and more things like that. And I want
Right,
to
right, right.
match up the sponsorships with the episodes too, so that it all makes
Okay.
sense. You know what I mean? So I wouldn't necessarily have, excuse me, Ken's Kitty Litter sponsor, this episode where we're
Right.
talking about, places to go out and eat. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But I've got like, just to give you an idea too, like I've got some attorneys that reached out that want to promote their legal services. We've also got we got a couple bloggers, but we have like artists and independent artists too.
Mhm.
That's also who I'll be interviewing as well on this platform. And it's on iHeart. So, as far as where people are located, as long as they're in the US,
Right.
there's a platform, there's an audience for them. You know what I mean? So just something to think about, man. Again, I appreciate your time, brother.
For
I
sure, for sure.
mean, so yeah, that's all I got for now, bro.
Yeah. Appreciate you for definitely having me on. I am definitely looking forward to checking out the show too. Just
Yeah,
not
man.
just my episode, but just in general. Yeah.
Nah, definitely. The thing about it too is, as far as my conversations and the content is gonna be, it's such a wide spectrum. You know what I'm saying? And that's the beauty of it too, is that I have the freedom to talk about whatever I want to talk about. You know what I'm
Right.
saying? And interview whoever I want to interview. So on my first episode, for example, I discussed two topics. One being cuffing season, which
Yeah.
is good,
Yeah.
you know what I'm saying? And two, what I call my 4 seasons of relationships. You know what I mean?
Okay. Okay.
And so I break those concepts down. It's entertaining, it's insightful, and I also have an interview inserted in there as well with a female perspective, on
Uh-huh.
those two things as well. But next week I'm talking about work ethic.
Okay. Yeah.
And my experience with work ethic and when it was instilled in me, in my earlier work experiences, and how, it's something that not only do I recognize when I see it, I also recognize when I don't see it. You know,
Right.
and having business relationships and, you know, how that impacts my work style and stuff like that. And, you know, so I like to keep it organic, essentially. You know what I'm saying? Like things that are important to me, which include, of course, food,
Yeah.
uh, you know, relationships, travel, um, all of those things, all of the
Right.
things. Just say, Monday, get down, baby.
Cool.
Yep.
Cool.
Yep. So anyway, yes, be sure to lock in, bro. Mondays at 8. You know what I'm saying? Face to
Okay.
face radio. I'll send you a link.
Yeah. Shoot me a link.
I know that's the easiest way. Send me a link.
Yeah, it is.
Word. But man, for now, bro, enjoy your evening. Again, I appreciate you, man. Best of luck
So,
to you.
for sure. We'll holler at you.
Peace, man.
All right.